All right, so the next thing we have to discuss is business reductionism and why businesses struggle to scale. I could never scale my business until I got this into place. So first thing I would suggest you do is you read the book Essentialism. I'd also go through the 80-20 books that are also listed in Essential Read. So the big question of this program should not be, how can I make better ads? The big question we need to ask ourselves constantly is, how can I get massive success even if my ads are weak? Because then when we apply strong ads to them, we'll get insane success. And then how can I exploit it with epic ads? So the reason why businesses struggle to scale is because making a single campaign for a single product that works profitably at scale for a long period of time, rain or shine, is the hardest, most time-consuming, focus-required challenge anyone can face. It's so hard. It's taken me years of optimization to keep my program that I will be focusing on using as a case study in this event that we've spent millions of dollars on ads and then tens of millions of dollars back. HCOM, it's taken me years of optimization to keep this thing going. In the first couple months of HCOM, the ROI collapsed after about 2 to 3 months in, like you've probably seen with all your funnels. The ROI didn't sustain. And I thought to myself, do I make another product? What do I do right here? And our biggest ROI, the times when we really started crushing it, didn't come till about a year after the program was made. Literally when the funnel had died multiple times and I've redone it and I finally went and applied a lot of the things in the business I'm going to stress right here, that's when we started having our biggest numbers. It took years of optimization. And so a lot of people think, oh man, I've been running this funnel for 2 to 3 months and ads is not working anymore. Must be the ads. It's not. And I could not do this on a single other webinar or product at the same time. During the time when I was optimizing HCOM, Hyros was mostly in a design and developmental phase, and so I could spend insane amounts of time on the HCOM funnel. If I've been doing it on 2 to 3 webinars at once, if I had been doing it on 2 to 3 different products, if I've been doing a product launch or really focusing on my YouTube channel or going nuts on any form of social media, it wouldn't have worked. The time when it really started to blow up is when I stopped doing everything and just focused on one funnel. And that's why I'm going to tell you right now, the hardest, most time-consuming thing you can ever do in your business is build a profitable ad funnel. Everybody wants it. Everybody wants one. Very few people have one. I can name the number of entrepreneurs I know that have a funnel that's ran for over a year that stayed profitable, rain or shine. No one really does it. No one really does it for a long period of time. That's why you constantly see people launching a new webinar every single week or starting up new ads or starting up a new product. So the reason for this and why most businesses can't scale is they have 15 different products, 12 different funnels, they're doing chat box, they have 5 traffic sources, and an ad manager is managing 3 different businesses. So the person working on their ads in the first place is managing like 6 other different businesses while trying to do all this. It's literally impossible. It won't work. It will never work. I never see it work for anybody. The only time I ever see this work is when the business already has a substantial following and a substantial amount of customers already. That's the only time this ever works. If the business is starting from scratch, just literally, I've never seen it work. I've never seen it work. Okay. If you looked at when Ty Lopez exploded, he had just one funnel. All right. It was the 67 steps product right there for that one video, and that was it. That was the only thing they ran as their front end forever. It doesn't work any other way. So here's exactly why it doesn't work. So when you're making a new funnel, when you're running ads, you're storming a beach. And like we stated before, it's not some isolated fight that you're working on. See, when you're running ads, the CPL and the amount that's being paid and the amount that's being paid per click isn't determined by some secret wizard in the Google mountains. It's determined by another person who has an ad account that's running in the same niche as you or targeting the same people that you are. That's it. It's not an isolated fight. You're not doing it in isolation. This isn't some video game where you're trying to fight some boss that you alone are figuring out. See, ads are the definition of a zero-sum game. Not everybody gets to win. Not everybody who tries hard gets the traffic. The person that is the best gets the traffic, and he gets the lion's share of it. And so what happens, what you see most businesses do is they try and storm multiple beaches at the same time. They have 4 different products. They're on 4 different ad sources. They're on they have 4 different funnels going to one product on 1 different ad source. And so what happens is you're taking yourself and you're splitting yourself 4 different ways. Let's imagine This is AdWords right here you're trying to storm for one product. This is Facebook you're trying to storm for one product. Then you have another product funnel over here. And then you're also running a chatbot funnel. Well, you're splitting yourself 25% each ways. And what happens is you're going to run into, let's say you're doing this on AdWords right here. You're going to jump into it and you're just going to go against, for example, if you were in the e-commerce niche, you're going against me at HCOM, and I'm just 100% in over here. I'm not running another traffic source. I'm not running anything complicated on another traffic source least. I'm just sitting here focusing on this one funnel through AdWords all day long. And so if you're only putting 25% of yourself in there, if we're at the equal level of talent, you're just not going to beat me. Because I can beat 25% of anybody all day long. It's not because I'm super talented. If you're as smart as me and you're optimized in the ways we've discussed before, I'll beat 25% of you. That's not arrogant. That's not cocky. Like, it's the same thing. If I'm in the gym 5 days a week and you're in a gym 1 day a week in this beach that you're trying to storm, I'm just going to win. So it's even worse that because when I look at most businesses, it's not even like that. They have 4 different products and then 4 different funnels for each product. And then there's like a chat bot going on here. And then they're also working on Instagram and trying to promote their organic reach and then trying to go and make YouTube videos. And they have 6 different products as well. So they're making like videos for the products and their customer support's terrible because they have 6 different products they can't support. And it's all really confusing and their processors are all bogging down them. And the complication gets insane. For every one product you release, you need to think about this. You need to really look at it. All the things that go into one product, just one product in one funnel being successful, it's absurd. If you really want to do it right, the support people behind it, the payment processors, the ads, the products, videos themselves, the product design, the designs of the product, the funnels, every email in the funnel, the landing pages. I mean, the stuff that goes into just one product from one ad source, it's absurd. And the complexity that comes with just one product, it's out of control. And so if you do this with 2 products or 2 different ad sources or 3 different businesses, you can't clone this over in any effective way. It doesn't work. I don't know how I could not do it. No one could do it. And this is what everybody's trying to do. And this is why their ads don't work, because to really get something right, you have to nail all of these. You can't just put stuff up in all these categories. You have to nail it. You have to crush it in every single one of these. Product, ad, design, customer support, everything needs to be crushed, not just done 90% well, crushed. And you can't do that if you're doing 10 different things. You just can't, especially in the front end. Now, one thing I want to state before moving forward, the goal of this program is also to be focusing on cold traffic. I don't think you have any trouble advertising to your current customers. If you do, that's a sign of the product not being good enough and your customers having such a bad experience with your original product that they won't buy anything from you ever again. That's a whole other problem we'll be talking about right here. But here's the thing, when you go and do this with your business, you have 6 different products, 8 different things going on. Nothing is tracked right. It's not optimized to 0.01%. Nothing ever has time to get tested well. It's just so damn complicated to even understand. You can't even communicate with your team. And I'm going to tell you right now, it takes 6 months to really optimize a campaign, and most businesses don't even have a week to do so. They don't have the time to invest even a week of optimizing any campaign or any funnel. So you can't do this if you have a complicated business. And the result is, look, ads must be hyper optimized. And the result is what we see across the industry. People have to have the most incredible ads ever for it to work. The ads must be hyper optimized. Man, I look at some people's Facebook and Google ads campaigns. The level of targeting, they make things work and even may be 50% profitable is out of control. And the result is that's the only way you can survive. Your ads must be hyper optimized. They don't ever work for a long time. They are never mega profitable for a long time. And the fluctuations are out of control. And that big scaling moment that you're looking for in your business never comes. This is why you can't scale the business. It's not because of the ads. It's because you have to be the world's greatest ad runner in history to win this uphill battle that you've gotten yourself into, because you're going against people, again, who are just going to squat 100% down on any territory, and you're attacking them in 8s and 10%. So there's 2 types of businesses I see right now. There's huge following businesses that have massive ad spend, and you might be working in this business right now. What happens in these businesses is they're hyper unoptimized and they're usually losing money on their ads. It's just the loss is hidden in a hyper profitable business that because of the following and the massive unoptimization it hides behind it. And so they're going to have 20 different products, and they're going to have 16 different funnels, and they're going to have 10 different chat bots, and they're constantly going to be doing and launching new products in the business because that's what they think makes sense. But if you actually go dig into the ad tracking behind these, it's usually really ugly because they have ads. For example, I'll see this in my business. I saw this when I was crisscrossing ads. They'll have ads on like Facebook, for example, that are reporting massive ROIs, but those ROIs are actually all coming from organic sales. And this is when tracking comes into play big time. And so they're actually running tons of ads on Facebook that are getting huge losses. And that's just one thing that happens when you have like 20 different front ends and stuff. That's exactly what you're going to see. But it's hidden. It's hidden behind all the complication and crisscrossing. And overall, the business is profitable because the influencer or business has a lot of following, it has a good brand, it has a large everything else going on. But then the losses are really hidden behind a steel shield of gray matter. I see that all the time. And so these businesses are losing money hand over foot. And if they were starting from scratch, it wouldn't work. And that's a real shame because these businesses could be making so much more money, insane amounts of money, if they just went in and actually simplified the business. Now, I also see cold businesses start up. They have no following and they try and do what we're trying to do in this program. And because of that, they're constantly in a state of ad purgatory. Their ads are never, ever clearly profitable for long, and they are on a cycle of new products and new ads constantly. I see this with new info businesses, coaching businesses, consulting businesses. This is story one. They make some money, but they can never, ever scale to the next level because what's going on right here, if this big business right here is happening right here, except it's very clear that it's not working because there's nothing to hide behind. This is what I see in ads. And so either way, a lot of people are following these big businesses right here all the way straight to hell because these big businesses have the illusion of being hyper profitable and running really good ads and doing a lot of complicated things. And the truth is all their complicated things aren't really paying off. And there's really just I'll see businesses where the organic traffic is making the entire business and the ads are actually all losing money. But because the business is making money overall, they get off like they're actually doing really well in their ads when they're not. And you can't get away with this BS if you're starting a business. So if you have a big business right now, I guarantee you it's hiding in there. You can make so much more money. You can grow the business to another level and really scale to another level. If you're having trouble scaling or whatever, you see the problem. This is exactly where it's at. And I really never see simple, huge, scalable businesses. So for example, one of my buddies, Sam Ovens, he has like the most successful info webinar of all time. And I know what the secret is over there. It's because Sam spent almost a decade on the funnel. He's just one funnel, one ad source. And I've done the same exact thing with my business. I have one ad source, one funnel, one product, and I was able to scale business to over $10 million per year without that much effort. Because it's just the biggest structure. Once you get it right, it's not that hard to scale it. If you look at Purple, I mean, they've just been selling the same mattress for forever, and they've made so much money. If you look at any business that really takes off, just because they're doing one thing really well over and over and over and over again. If you look at Slack, I mean, they're selling the same piece of software and they're insanely profitable. It's because they nailed everything that we're about to describe right here. Okay, it doesn't have to be complicated. And you got to think to yourself when you look at your business, why is this required? Why is this the standard? And more importantly, you're going to see that's the standard, not with really successful businesses that are smartly run and hyper profitable. It's the standard, it's the pattern with businesses that lose money and beginner businesses that are very unoptimized and not disciplined. You see it every single time. In shit show, large businesses that aren't optimized and are losing money hand over foot, when the market starts to get competitive, when things start to get hard, when a new competitor that's really optimized enters the market, all this stuff gets exposed and the business blows up every time. Or you see it in beginner businesses with new influencers, people that are really stuck below the 100,000 a month or keep kind of like going back from like 100,000 to 200,000 to 50,000 and kind of bobbing around. It's chronic. You see it all the time. You see it completely with short-term entrepreneurs. This is the blueprint to short-term success and ad purgatory. So you have to think to yourself, why is this required? Why do people do this? It's not. If you could just, this isn't special or smart. This is just lack of focus and discipline. That's all it is. Complication, anything that's complicated is lack of focus and discipline. Any idiot can make something super complicated. Any idiot can make super complicated ad targeting. It's not hard. You can go into the Facebook ad manager, Google ad manager. You can combine 8 different things to create this like genomic freak Frankenstein-like ad strategy. It's not hard to do. Running an ad where you bid on just the keyword money and make money, that's hard to do. Creating a super hyper-optimized, crazy targeted ad that makes money for a short amount of time, that's easy to do. Everybody does that. Everybody does that. Go through any marketing group out there full of beginners or short-term people. Everybody's done it. You don't want to do what they are doing, okay? So if you look at your business, the key to having a big business is most people, you walk in their business, it looks like this. It looks like a factory that's just absolutely out of control. There's boxes everywhere. There's so much stuff. You don't even know where your sales are coming from. This is what you're going to see. All right. And if you did this factory right here, the only businesses that are able to make this type of business operation work are businesses that get into a completely blue ocean market. Like Google, it's a disaster. Okay. Like when you look at some of the stuff going on, they have so many things, they're doing so many things. And the only reason that the business could operate like that is if they got into a market and just completely dominated in search. And that's exactly what happened there. Okay. Whereas if you look at Amazon, that's so optimized it doesn't even make sense because they got in a market where you're not allowed to do that. So if you go and look at almost every big business, if you look at the Industrial Revolution, it's just chronic. If you look at all businesses that are in competitive markets where you have to be good at what you do, you're not just the only product on the market, the only solution, you're not a monopoly, it's always like this. If you look at Henry Ford's business, you look at Rockefeller's business, you look at Carnegie's business, they combined being the first mover with hyper optimization. If you look at so many businesses, if you look at Jack Ma's business, you look at Amazon, you go look at a lot of billion-dollar companies that are fighting in competitive markets, not SaaS or Silicon Valley companies. I'm talking like restaurants and whatever. Like restaurants are an amazing example of this. Okay, Danny Meyer's Setting the Table is a great example of this. It's always like this. It is always like this. It's like the Ford assembly line where everything's optimized to the hyper 0.01%. Because the way you win in business, especially with ads, is if everybody's optimized to 100%, you optimize 1% at a time to 130%. And that extra 30% right there is going to allow you to scale. So for example, on my ads at HCOM, we'll usually make about 30 to 50% cash in same day. And that right there is where the scale comes from. It doesn't come from the magic ads. It comes from that extra optimization right there. And that's where we win at. Because if everybody else, their ads are okay, our ads are excellent, but then we also have that extra 30% right there. That's why most people are like 80% cash loss on their ads when they try to do this. It's because they don't have that 30% and their ads aren't that great to start with. This is the key. This is the magic plan right here. It's one, you can see Henry Ford's product right here, one car, one assembly line, one type of customer for the masses. And he's bidding on the keyword money at this point. He's just selling to every single person out there. How can I get the most product in the hands of the most people and the most efficient way? That's what he talks about his entire book. And that's what made him one of the most successful entrepreneurs of all time. And so you need to ask yourself, why does my business need multiple entry points? Why does it need multiple products? Why does it need multiple sites? Why does it need multiple funnels? If I could make $10 million a year from one product, one funnel, one ad source, why not just do that? That's obviously much easier, and it's much easier to optimize one thing than it is 5 things. So why not just do that? And that's the problem. Because big, complicated, multi-facing businesses are hard to scale, they're hard to optimize, they're hard to track. It's hard, and hard things are hard, and the definition of a hard thing is something that you rarely will succeed at. And if your business is constantly in the face of something that's hard to succeed at, you're not going to win, because that's the definition of being hard. If your business constantly overcomes things that you think are hard, then those things really aren't that hard. Okay, like if you're playing a boss fight in a video game and you beat him every single time, it's not hard for you to win that boss fight. It's easy. It might be challenging. You might have to do a lot of things that were challenging, but it's easy in the long run. You don't want to ever do hard things. And so it's simple. You want to do easy things. If I have a funnel and only one ad source, one funnel, one product, and yes, we might break in the retargeting on other ad platforms. That's not what I'm saying. We have one ad source, one funnel, and one product as our front end, which is the most challenging funnel ever. We can have other funnels in our business. I want to break this down real quick because I know you might ask this question in the group. We can have other funnels in our business, but we will never want to have multiple front-end funnels because those are the most challenging funnels to make money off of. I can have unoptimized funnels in my back end where I run them as promotions to my customers and make 10x ROIs all the time because the first funnel was so impressive to the customer. The first product was so great that it's pretty easy to cash in over there. But your front end funnel, we want to keep simple because simple is simple. And I could completely get not doing this if there were not thousands of examples of this working. This is the pattern to success. One thing, one time, all focus on that, and then you go and use the kill box, which is in the back end, okay? So you need to ask yourself, why can I not just have one funnel, just one product, just one front end, and not work on one thing at a time? Why can't you do that? The answer is the answer is this: because it's hard and it takes discipline and it's painful to turn off things. For example, when I started doing this in my business and started unlocking a lot of scale, I had to kill so many projects that were sort of profitable. They were sort of haphazard. They were in that purgatory. I had to kill all of them. I had to end business relationships. I had to fire people. And I go, this is not scalable. Now, again, simple is simple. What we're going to focus on most of this course is what I like to call our 100% funnel. This is where we're going to put all of our time in. Now, we're going to talk about the kill box back here. This is where we can make all sorts of extra money. We can sell all of our additional products. We can sell all sorts of other things right there. But we never even want to work on our kill box until this front end right here is a refined beast that works day in, day out with little maintenance. It's just a refined machine. It goes in and out all day long, and it takes time to do that. And so the truths we got to take into mind right here is taking something that's complicated, non-optimized, and has multiple fronts is impossible. And this right here has no evidence of consistent success. Doing this type of business has no evidence. So don't do hard, at least until you're at 100 mil a year. Then you could start doing to try to do hard stuff. But why not? Let's just get to, $100 million company, net worth company, maybe not 100 million a year. Let's just do it easy. Let's just do it the easy way. So I need you to understand the way forward is not more. It's business reductionism. It's keeping it simple as you possibly can. You want to always default to one thing. If you could run a business where it's one ad, one single ad to just a page with a video on it, that's the type of business you want to run. But that won't work. There's needed layers of complication, and we only want to put in complication when it's needed. We want to default to the simplest thing always, because that's the easiest thing to scale. The simpler it is, the easier it is to scale. And most people won't do this because they're too undisciplined when it comes to their business. They don't have any focus. If we can just work on that one thing nonstop and all the things we described in the mind and body section, it's going to be gross how good the results are. So let's talk about the next step in the next video.